Spread love everywhere you go. Let no one come to you without leaving happier. Hi, I'm Linda Watson-Kong. I'm so glad you could join me for today's episode of Dragonfly Soup. It seems that everything gets named these days. Hurricanes were always named. It helps everyone to know how many we've had in a particular year, and if one was particularly devastating, we could refer to it by name. That name would be retired so that there would be no mistaking what Hurricane Andrew, for instance, did. Now they're naming snowstorms, the full moons, and even more. The months of the year already had names, but now we add causes and characteristics to the months. April is Autism Awareness Month, but we also have a month for good manners, human rights, and kindness. I was thinking about it, and I thought, what if we decided to pick one of these worthwhile themes and practice it for more than a month? I know, sometimes it's hard to do just one day of random kindness, let alone a whole month or more. But seriously, what if we decided to practice kindness for more than one day? What if we took it into 2 or 3 days? Then for a month, 2 months, do you think we could keep it going? Now, imagine that the person you touched with your kindness felt moved to be kind to one or maybe 2 other people. That's a ripple effect that could just change the atmosphere or dynamics of your family, school, or community. It doesn't take much to practice kindness, but it does take awareness of yourself and those around you. So, how do we do it? Well, let's start with a smile. I know, that sounds so simplistic, almost trite. We hear sayings like, if you see someone without a smile, give them yours. But you know what? Your smile just might be what that other person needs. And the more you smile, the better you feel too. Years ago, I had experienced something absolutely wonderful. I was walking on a cloud for days. During that time, I noticed something, and I even made this comment to a friend. Are people happier and more friendly lately? I have strangers smiling to me as I pass them in the stores. Her comment to me was, how have you been feeling lately? I think they're reflecting what they're seeing in you. True. If you're feeling down, walking slow and looking at the sidewalk, are you even going to see those people who are feeling up and smiling? Try it. For the next day or so, smile to strangers. Say good morning or hi to the people you run into, whether you know them or not. Then watch and see what happens. How are you feeling? How do you think they're feeling? A simple smile or greeting goes a long way. Here's another way. Now, you might call it good manners, but saying thank you or just thanks can sometimes go further than a smile. When I'm passing out papers in the classroom, I notice students when they say thank you to me. And I think, I'm handing you work or a test and you're saying thank you? Wow. Now you might say something like, thank you for visiting with me when somebody leaves your house. Or thanks for the ride home to the person or whoever decided to bring you home that day. Or that was so kind of you to pick up the papers that I dropped. Thank you tells the other person that you really appreciate them and what they did for you. Give a shout out when somebody goes beyond what you expect, and do it when they least expect it. Like right now, I want to give a shout out to the 5th graders at Davisburg Elementary for giving me one of my best guest teacher days last month. How about giving out a compliment? You know that when somebody notices your new hairstyle or an article of clothing, you feel great. That's because they're validating your choice. And the more people who tell you you look good, the longer you're going to keep that style. We all like to be liked. That's part of our being. So let's like each other and compliment the small things as well as the big ones. Notice things about others, then tell them that you notice and that you think it's good. Say things like, that shade of nail polish really looks good with your outfit. Or, I noticed the effort you put into that project. It really helped. I guarantee, once you start showing a true interest in others, they will notice you and be more interested in you as well. And it just keeps going around like that. Another thing is to listen when others talk to you. Really listen to what they're saying and how they're saying it. Sometimes the tone of their voice says more than the words themselves. They may really be asking you for help, or they may just be talking to talk. In any case, listen. That's the kindest thing you can do for another person. We all have things to say, and we feel that they're important. But if no one wants to hear what we have to say, not only do we think that what we have to say is unimportant, but we start to feel that we're unimportant as well. So listen. You don't have to fix or respond to what they're saying. Just listen. That's the gift that you're giving them. Now try handing out high fives and hugs at the appropriate times. It doesn't have to be to your best friend or someone you really know. If that person did something great, high five them. Tell them that they were great. Something that simple will encourage them to do it again or to try to do something more difficult. And if a high five is not appropriate at that time, maybe a hug is. If a smile doesn't help someone who's feeling down, maybe what they really need is a hug. The best thing about a hug is you don't have to say a word. The action of a hug says it all. A hug says everything will be okay. It says you will be okay. It says, I care about you. One of the funnest ways that I've found to spread love, kindness, and happiness is to leave notes. Sometimes we want to let someone know that they're great or that they're doing something wonderful, but we don't want to say it to their face. So leave a note. A few years ago, in one of the rooms that I was a frequent guest teacher, they had a practice. Every student had their name on an envelope on one of the walls. On the counter were pieces of paper with cute designs on them. The students were encouraged to take the paper and write a positive note on it to another student anytime they felt like it. Then they secretly put that note into the student's envelope. The last thing they did every Friday was hand out the notes. The students loved it. They smiled, they laughed, and sometimes they cried. Not because the note said something hurtful, but because someone said something wonderful about them. Now, last year, at the end of a class day, I found this note and a mini bite-sized candy on my desk. The candy was quickly eaten, but this note, it's still on my desk at home to remind me that someone out there thinks I'm awesome. So spend the next few days or weeks spreading your love. Listen to the words of Mother Teresa. Spread love everywhere you go. Let no one come to you without leaving happier. It costs nothing but a few minutes of your time, but it could mean everything to that other person. And please share, either in the comments or a private message, what you plan to do to share your love in your family, school, or community. And while you're at it, click like for this week's episode and share it with your friends. You might also want to check out our new gift shop where you can purchase gifts with our Dragonfly Soup design on them. The link is below. And I'll see you next week, right here on Dragonfly Soup. Here's to our transformation and our best year ever.